Okay, picking it up again, let's begin the conduct procurements process. Begin on page 42 of the PMBOK guide. Conduct procurements is about obtaining the sellers, selecting the seller, and then awarding the contract to that seller. So jumping right into the inputs, tools and techniques. Nothing rocket science or new about this. So a simple review will do, and there are the notes, and the PMBOK guide walks you through it. In addition, we have, I just want to say in the procurement documents, keep in mind when I say bid documents, I mean the RFI, the RFP, and the RFQ. Okay, that's pretty much it. When I say source selection criteria, I am talking about in procurement documentation. I am talking about how the bidder proposals will be evaluated. Remember, you did that in plan procurement management. You came up with the weighted criteria and also the values for each company. Seller proposals. Now, if the seller is going to submit a price proposal, a good practice is to require that it be separate from the technical proposal. You want to evaluate the technical proposal first, make sure they will work to meet your need, and then the price proposal on top of that afterwards. That is a common good practice. Okay? In tools and techniques, we're all familiar with expert judgment, and there's more on page 47 of the PMBOK guide. Don't forget, we're conducting procurements. We're trying to get the very best seller. So it is okay to advertise, to communicate with potential buyers. And you can do this through online bidding sites or through conferences. There's the next tool and technique, which is called bidder conferences. We invite everybody to come in, hear what you're trying to do, ask questions in the open, answer them in the open back so that everyone can hear it. Data analysis as a tool and technique. This is a technique that is includes, but is not limited to the proposal evaluation. So it's about evaluating the proposal. When I say when the PMBOK guide says interpersonal and team skills, negotiation is part of the procurement. So you may get a great technical answer, but not love their price. And part of the negotiation would be maybe some movement on the technical, if that brings you some relief on the price and gets you both where you want to be. The negotiation, just a note, remember that balance between the project manager and the procurement manager. The negotiation should be led by a member of the procurement team who has the authority to sign contracts. And here is an example of a weighted proposal for you. So the criteria is set out there. There could be additional criteria, but this is what we had in our project plan. What we're building, software development is important, is nice, but it's not critical because we can do some of that, most of that. So I want reputation and experience and how good are they at keeping to a schedule. And you see I've weighted each of those. And then software development a little bit. Now look over company C. They graded out at 290 points. It doesn't mean they're a bad company. They scored second highest and frankly almost equal to B in software development. It's probably a great software development company. But we were looking for something else. And company A, though not as good, a software development company, had a superior reputation and equal experience, and they were better at meeting the schedule, which is what I needed. So they frankly, A and B, those companies graded out about the same, 390 to 400. So by this weighted criteria, I've eliminated company C. Even though they're a good company, I may go to them in the future if software development is really what I'm looking for. And now I might have A and B come in and give me proposals or pitches, and how can I further assess what they're doing. Okay. In the end, then, after the pitch, based on the points, if they're all equal, A and B, I'll pick B because they won by the narrowest of margins. So my outputs here are as a selected seller, which is the point of the process called conduct procurements. I want a seller selected and then a signed contract, which is the second output. The contract signed, now it's mutually binding. So keep good records, that sort of thing. And it should include a termination clause and how you would proceed for ADR, alternate dispute resolution. Remember we talked about that, and those come in generally three types: mediation, arbitration, or legal remedies. Of course, outputs can be change requests as part of the negotiation, plan updates, document updates, and OPA updates. OPAs are rarely in the output, but when they are updates, OPA updates. Now, as part of this conduct procurements, now that I'm getting a signed contract, negotiation becomes a key aspect of this, getting the technical aspect and the financial aspect just right. If it's a fixed price contract, there probably won't be any negotiation because, frankly, it's a fixed price. It could be, but it's unlikely. Negotiation really occurs with cost reimbursable and time and material contracts. The PM really needs to be involved, but the procurement manager is really going to be doing most of the negotiating for you. But you'll want to be part of it. Okay? Remember that you want to be fair and reasonable in terms of cost, and always looking to maintain a good relationship, because if you can work through the negotiation, hey, you are going to have a long-term relationship with this vendor and their project manager. So as the buyer project manager, the main items that I want to negotiate to complete the contract, you can imagine, it's the iron triangle or the performance measurement baseline, the scope, the schedule, and the cost or the price. Sure, you can negotiate other items, but to me, that's what I'm going to focus on. That's really the priority. Okay, and now the contract is awarded. Remember, as you award the contract and you are building it with the procurement manager, all of those boilerplate items we went over in plan procurement management, you want to make sure the right boilerplate items were in your contract. As you're doing this, you need to be aware of the purpose of the contract, which is to define roles and responsibilities, that once you sign it, it's legally binding, and you're looking, both of you, to mitigate your risks, you especially as the buyer. To be a legal contract, you frankly need 5 things. I don't believe this is on the PMBOK Guide PMP exam, but just in case it is, there's always an offer, and the other party has to accept it formally, and it has to be for something of value. That's called consideration. They need to be a legal capacity, competent. So your procurement manager is competent to go into agreement. Me as the project manager, I am not. I do not have the legal capacity. And then a legal purpose. You can't make a contract for illegal goods and services. Okay? Marijuana in Illinois, presently, in illegal good. Okay? Contracts can be verbal or written. This is true. Written is highly favored in the United States. Elsewhere, the verbal is often favored. Okay? All right, and that is it for conduct